Hey, welcome back, my friends. Today we're counting down the top 5 rare Washington quarter dollar that were once spent like pocket change. But now they're worth thousands. These little metal pieces bought snacks, newspapers, movie tickets, yet today, just one of these rare dates could change your wallet, your collection, maybe even your life. So buckle up, because one of these coins might already be hiding in your home, your drawer, or your old dusty coin jar, and it could be worth far more than 5 cents. Stay with me. First up, the coin I am talking about is the 1967 Washington quarter dollar, one of the most surprising and valuable coins ever discovered in modern U.S. circulation history. Now listen carefully, because this year, 1967, was no normal year for American coinage. The U.S. Mint was facing a crisis. Silver coin hoarding had exploded, and the government believed people were hoarding coins rather than spending them. Because of this economic panic, the Mint made a major decision. They removed mint marks from all coins between 1965 and 1967. No Denver D, no San Francisco S, and no Philadelphia P, just a blank space beneath Washington's portrait, creating an era known as the no mint mark production. The idea was simple: stop collectors from hoarding coins by making every single one look the same. But ironically, instead of preventing rarity, this decision created it. The 1967 quarter was minted in huge quantities. Yes, more than 1.5 billion coins flooded the United States economy. But here's the twist. Even though millions were made, only a microscopic fraction survived with exceptional quality. Most were struck quickly, stacked in bags, shipped in bulk, and scraped against each other before entering circulation. The style of minting was based on speed, not perfection, because the mint was desperate to push coins back into use. That means sharp details, clean surfaces, strong edges, and flawless strikes became extremely rare. Unlike earlier quarters, which were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, this 1967 quarter was made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, with an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded over a pure copper core. This transition from silver to clad metal created a new chapter in American numismatic history. The color, sound, durability, and weight all became different. Older quarters had a soft silver ring when dropped. These new clad quarters had a dull metallic sound. Many Americans disliked the new look and feel, calling them cheap, fake, or play money. But little did they know, one day, one special surviving example would become priceless. Now let's picture that coin. The obverse shows George Washington's portrait, originally sculpted by John Flanagan back in 1932. On this coin, Washington's hair curls are sharp. The cheek is smooth, the bow in the tied hair is crisp, and the word liberty is bold. Beneath the portrait sits the date 1967, and above it proudly stands the national motto, "In God We Trust." Turn it over, and the reverse reveals one of the most symbolic designs in American coin history. An eagle with outstretched wings stands perched on a bundle of arrows, HIZ, symbol of strength, protection, and readiness. Beneath the arrows sit 2 olive branches, symbolizing peace. The inscription, United States of America, arcs across the top, while quarter dollar rests at the bottom. The words, E pluribus unum, sit between the eagle's wingtips, a reminder of unity through diversity. Most people never truly see these details. They see a coin, spend it, forget it. But collectors? They see history, art, survival, rarity, and value. And this coin, this 1967 Washington quarter, became legendary because of one record-breaking grading result. While billions were circulated, just one example achieved an ultra-elite condition, recognized by PCGS as MS68+, full strike with exceptional luster and 0 visible marks. This coin displayed razor-sharp detail, perfect surfaces, and a flawless minting strike. The fields were mirror-like, the edges crisp, and the design definition so perfect it appeared hand-polished. It became not just a quarter, but a treasure. When this coin appeared at auction, collectors knew it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Bidding started strong, then escalated, with numbers climbing higher, higher and higher, until the room fell silent. The hammer dropped, and that ordinary 25-cent coin, that once purchased a soda, sold for an unbelievable $372 to $400. Imagine finding that in your change drawer. Imagine discovering it in a forgotten jar at home. Imagine holding history, worth more than a luxury car or a year of salary. This is why collectors search tirelessly. This is why people examine coins with magnifiers, gloves, and patience. Because sometimes, the most valuable treasures are not locked in vaults or museums, but waiting quietly in a pocket, drawer, or roll of coins, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. So next time you see a 1967 quarter, don't walk past it. Don't ignore it. Look closely, because it could be one of the rare survivors, one of the few flawless examples, one of the coins that escaped scratches, circulation, bags, and time. And maybe, just maybe, it could be the next $372 or $400 quarter. Next up, this is the 1988D Washington quarter dollar, one of the rarest ultra-grade modern quarters ever found, and a coin that once sold for a staggering price. Now let's rewind the timeline and go straight into the year 1988, a year when the United States Mint was focused heavily on mass production. The country needed coins fast. Arcades, vending machines, transportation systems, laundromats, and millions of everyday transactions depended on quarters. Because of this booming demand, the Denver Mint, marked with the D Mint mark, pushed machines to maximum output. Speed, volume, and efficiency were the priority, not perfection. In that single year, the Denver Mint produced approximately almost 600 million coins flooded into circulation. That means almost every American household at some point handled a 1988D quarter. Kids used them for Pac-Man machines. College students used them for payphones. Parents used them for grocery carts, gas pumps, toll booths, and fast food counters. These coins lived fast, rough, and hard lives. But what makes this one quarter so special? It wasn't because of a design change. It wasn't a commemorative edition. It wasn't an error strike with a visible flaw. No, its rarity comes from the exact opposite. Astonishing perfection in a year defined by mass production chaos. Before we talk value, let's explore the anatomy of this coin. The composition of the 1988D quarter is copper-nickel clad, consisting of an outer layer containing 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded over a pure copper core. This clad structure gives the coin its slightly gray metallic appearance. Not silver, not dull but distinct. When struck sharply, this alloy creates a beautiful satiny or sometimes frosted luster that can glow under light like polished steel. The obverse, front, features the familiar portrait of George Washington, created by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932. The design shows Washington facing left, his tied hair resting behind his neck, with crisp curls and strong facial detail. Above him sits the word Liberty, and on the left, the motto, In God We Trust. Beneath his neck, just slightly to the right, sits the small but historically important D Mint mark, telling the story of where this coin was born, the Denver Mint. Turn the coin over, and the reverse displays one of the most iconic American coin designs, a powerful bald eagle stretching its wings in command. The eagle stands on a bundle of arrows, representing readiness and defense. Just below those arrows sit two olive branches, symbols of peace. The words United States of America arc gracefully across the top, with E pluribus unum resting between the eagle's wings, and quarter dollar stamped bold at the bottom. Now here's where things change. Out of nearly 600 million coins struck, nearly all entered circulation immediately. They rubbed against other coins. They rattled in bags. They fell into coin-counting machines, payphone slots, metal drawers, and dusty glove compartments. Pressure, vibration, friction, oxidation, all of this destroyed surfaces, details, luster, and edges. Finding one in mint state condition became rare. Finding one in ultra gem condition became nearly impossible. But one single 1988 D quarter avoided all of that. It never entered circulation. It never scratched against other coins. It never lost its factory fresh shine. Somehow, whether by accident or miracle, one coin survived with flawless brilliance, razor-sharp detail, and immaculate surfaces. Professional graders examined it under magnification, under bright lighting, and with precision measurement tools. And the results stunned everyone. It earned one of the highest possible grades ever awarded to a modern circulation strike quarter, an elite MS68+, full strike, deep luster, a grade so rare it might never be repeated. Collectors lined up, not physically, but financially. Phones rang. Online bids exploded. Private collectors, investment buyers, and modern coin specialists all knew this was a once-in-a-generation discovery. And then, the hammer dropped. This once ordinary 25-cent coin, made of copper and nickel, weighing just 5.67 grams, measuring 24.26 ms, sold for a jaw-dropping $230,500. Imagine, a quarter worth more than a house, a coin worth more than a luxury car, a piece of metal worth more than years of hard work, bills, savings, and income. And here's the best part. There may still be more out there. Coins like this often slip into drawers, piggy banks, storage boxes, forgotten jars, or coin rolls waiting silently to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. So if you ever find a 1988 D quarter, don't rush to spend it. Don't throw it into a machine. Hold it carefully. Examine it under bright light. Look at the details, the strikes, the surfaces, the edges. Because who knows? You might be holding the next hidden treasure, the next record breaker, the next quarter worth more than $230,500. And that, my friends, is why we hunt. Stay curious, stay passionate, and never underestimate a coin that everyone else ignores. Next up, we're talking about the 1971 Washington quarter dollar, a modern clad coin that turned into a legendary rarity. Let's travel back in time. The year was 1971. America was shifting rapidly. The economy was changing. The Vietnam War era was nearing its closing chapters, and the US Mint was transitioning fully into a new era of coin metal. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the Mint removed silver from circulation quarters. Before that year, every quarter contained 90% silver and 10% copper, real precious metal. But by 1971, all quarters were made with the new copper-nickel clad composition, a structure consisting of an outer layer that was 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded over a solid copper center. This gave the coin a sandwich-style look on the rim, a visible copper layer between two silvery faces. When the 1971 quarter entered production, the US Mint was under enormous pressure to supply more circulating coins for vending machines, payphones, transportation systems, and a rapidly growing consumer economy. So the focus that year wasn't perfection. It was speed, efficiency, bulk production. And because of that, a massive quantity of 161,090,000 quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and for the first time since 1964, these quarters included no mint mark, no small letter under Washington's portrait, just the blank space, representing Philadelphia production. Most of these coins were minted with heavy pressure machines, fast Ds, and shipment methods that resulted in contact marks, scratches, abrasions, and dull surfaces. These coins were tossed into canvas mint bags, stacked in barrels, transported in trucks, counted in mechanical sorting machines, and rapidly entered everyday circulation. So the overwhelming majority of 1971 quarters are worn, dull, and damaged, not collectible, not rare and not valuable. But the key word is majority, not all. Somewhere in that massive sea of coins, one single example slipped through untouched. It avoided circulation. It never rubbed against another coin. It never entered a cash register, machine, pocket, or drawer. It survived with immaculate surfaces, glass-like luster, razor-sharp strike definition, and beautiful mint bloom, exactly as it left the press. Let's look more closely at the coin's appearance. The obverse shows the familiar portrait of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan back in 1932. Washington's profile features detailed hair curls, a strong jawline, a sharply defined forehead, and an elegant ribbon tied behind his head. Above the portrait stands the bold word, Liberty, while at the left sits the famous motto, In God We Trust. Beneath Washington's chin, alone and unmarked, rests the date, 1971. Flip the coin, and the reverse reveals the majestic American bald eagle, wings extended outward in power and readiness. The eagle perches firmly on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing national defense, while two olive branches spread beneath, representing peace. The inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum are positioned above, while the denomination quarter dollar stands at the bottom. Now, here's what makes this specific coin different. This wasn't just a nice example, it graded at an exceptionally rare level. MS68 Plus Full Strike, Ultra Gem Condition. For context, most 1971 quarters never grade higher than MS63 or MS64 because of bag marks, dull strikes, weak luster or damage. Even MS66 is extremely rare, and MS67 is almost unheard of. So when one single quarter was certified in near-perfect MS68 Plus condition, it sent shockwaves through the modern numismatic world. This wasn't just a coin, it was a survivor. A perfect time capsule from a chaotic minting year. Collectors lined up. Investors noticed. Modern condition rarity specialists began bidding aggressively. And one historic auction came to a dramatic close. The hammer fell. Final price, $244,000. A quarter worth more than a new car, more than a college education, more than many homes. A 25-cent piece turned into a financial miracle. And here's the most exciting part. There could be more. High-grade modern coins are sleeping everywhere. In coin jars, in bankrolls, in forgotten mint sets, in attics, in garages, and in dresser drawers. They hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with patience, curiosity, and knowledge. So next time you see a 1971 quarter, don't rush to spend it. Inspect it. Look at the surfaces. Look for a clean strike, strong shine, mirrored luster, and no scratches. Use gloves. Use bright light. Use patience. Because your next ordinary-looking quarter could be another $244,000 treasure. Next up, the 1984 D Washington quarter dollar, a modern mint miracle that proves value isn't always about age, metal content, or rarity. Sometimes, perfection itself becomes priceless. To understand why this coin is so remarkable, we need to go back to the year 1984. At this time, the United States Mint was pushing unprecedented production volume. The economy was rapidly growing. Technology relied heavily on coin-operated machines, and there was massive demand for circulating coinage, especially quarters. The Denver Mint, marked by the small d beneath Washington's portrait, was operating efficiently but aggressively. Machinery was running at high pressures and high speeds, pushing out enormous numbers of coins per minute. And because of that pace, quality control wasn't focused on flawless finishes. The priority was quantity. In total, the mint struck an enormous, over 500 million coins. That means almost every household in America at some point had a 1984 D quarter pass through a hand, a register, or a machine. Now let's explore the coin itself. The 1984 D Washington quarter is made from the modern clad composition introduced after the removal of silver in 1965. Its structure consists of an outer layer, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded over a pure copper core. This sandwich-style construction gives it a durable surface, suitable for circulation, but also creates a challenge. Clad coins often show scratches, contact marks, dull surfaces, and weak strikes far more easily than older silver coins. So even though millions exist, very few remain in stunning untouched condition. The design remains iconic. On the obverse, we see the portrait of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932. His profile is sharply defined, with curls in the tied-back hair, a strong chin, and detailed facial structure. Above him stands the bold word, liberty, while beside him appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." Beneath Washington's neck rests the date 1984, along with the very important identifying feature, the tiny D mint mark, indicating production at the Denver Mint. Turn the coin over, and the reverse presents one of the most recognizable American images, a powerful bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing national readiness, with olive branches below representing peace. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and the denomination $quarter. Simple, symbolic, and timeless. So what made this quarter different from the hundreds of millions struck that year? One factor: condition rarity. Almost every 1984 D quarter entered circulation immediately. They tumbled into mint bags, scraped against other coins, dropped into metal trays, slid across counting machines, and collided with mechanical gears. They were used, spent, passed around, and forgotten. By the time collectors began paying attention to modern circulation, strike quality, decades later, most examples were already worn, scratched, or damaged. But one single 1984 D quarter avoided all contact. It didn't enter circulation. It never rattled in pockets or machines. It somehow remained untouched. Untouched by time, untouched by usage, preserved like a perfect time capsule. When submitted for grading, experts examined it carefully under magnification and professional grading lights. The results stunned the numismatic community. This coin achieved an almost impossible grade, MS68 Blue Full Strike, Ultra Gem, with blazing luster, flawless surfaces, and razor-sharp detail. For context, most 1984 D quarters struggle to grade even. MS64 grades above. MS66 are extremely rare, and MS67 examples are nearly unheard of. But an MS68 Plus? That is the pinnacle, a coin that should not exist under normal circumstances. When collectors realized how special this coin was, bidding became fierce. Modern coin specialists, investment buyers, and high-end collectors knew that they might never see another one like it again. The auction room watched as the price rose, past $50,000, past $100,000, past $150,000, until finally the hammer fell. And that perfect quarter, a coin, originally worth 25 cents, sold for a mind-blowing $178,700. Think about that for a moment. A coin that could have been used to buy a pack of gum or 2 arcade games or a parking meter hour, instead became worth more than a luxury car, more than a year's salary, more than some houses. That is the magic of numismatics, the unknown treasure hiding in the ordinary. And here's the most exciting part. There may still be more out there. Somewhere in a change jar, a forgotten bankroll, a sealed mint set, or an old drawer holding loose coins, another ultra-high-grade 1984 D quarter could be waiting. So the next time you pick up a quarter, especially one from 1984 with a D mint mark, don't rush to spend it. Examine it carefully under bright light. Look for clean surfaces, sharp strikes, strong luster, and no scratches or bag marks, because you never know. You might be holding the next $177,700 treasure. Next up, the 1980p Washington $quarter, a modern circulation strike that became an elite rarity, not because of its age or metal content, but because of its extraordinary condition and survival story. To understand why this coin became so valuable, we need to travel back to 1980. The United States Mint was in full production mode. The economy was busy. Technology was coin-dependent. Vending machines dominated daily life, and payphones stood on almost every corner. Because of this demand, the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small letter P beneath Washington's portrait, struck an enormous number of quarters. That year, the Mint produced stunningly high output, 635 million coins. Yes, more than 635 million quarters rolled off the presses in Philadelphia alone. flooding circulation across the nation. With such massive production volume, speed took priority over perfection. The minting presses worked non-stop, operating at pressure and velocity levels designed for quantity, not collectors. Planchets bounced through machinery. Coins collided in metal counting bins. Surfaces scraped against steel rollers, bags and other coins. Nearly every example left the mint with contact marks, light abrasions, weak strikes, or handling damage, long before they ever touched human hands. The composition of the 1980p quarter followed, the modern clad standard introduced after. Silver was removed from quarters in 1965. The coin consists of an outer layer made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, laminated over a pure copper center. This gives the quarter its gray-silver look on the faces and a reddish, copper-colored band visible around the rim. The clad alloy is durable, made for circulation, but it shows imperfections easily, which makes high-grade survival almost impossible. Now let's explore the physical design. On the obverse, we see the iconic portrait of George Washington, sculpted in 1932 by John Flanagan for the bicentennial of Washington's birth. His profile displays sharply carved hair tied with a ribbon, a bold facial structure, and a commanding presence. Above him stretches the word liberty, while to his left rests the national motto, "In God we trust." Beneath the portrait is the date 1980, and just to the right, small, subtle, but historically important, is the mint mark P, indicating Philadelphia minting. Flip the coin to the reverse, and we find the majestic bald eagle with wings outstretched, a symbol of strength, responsibility, and freedom. The eagle stands perched on a bundle of arrows, representing readiness for defense, while olive branches beneath symbolize the preference for peace before conflict. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. Clean, powerful, symbolic, and unmistakably American. So how does a coin like this, one of more than $500 million, become worth over $162,000? The answer is two words: condition rarity. Almost every 1980p quarter entered circulation. Children spent them on gum machines. Parents dropped them into parking meters. Travelers fed them into toll booths. And workers tossed them into cafeteria lines. Bags of quarters clanged through coin counters, sat in metal bank vaults, and traveled across states inside armored trucks. These coins lived harsh lives, and as a result, almost none survived in perfect, untouched condition. But one single example did. One 1980p quarter avoided circulation from the moment it left the press. It never touched another coin. It was never stacked, dropped, or handled. Its surfaces remained smooth, crisp, and untouched. The strike was powerful. Every feather on the eagle was defined. Every hair on Washington's profile sharp. The luster was radiant, glowing with what collectors call satiny frost, reflecting light like polished steel. When this extraordinary coin was examined by top-tier professional graders, magnified, inspected under precision lighting, and measured for flaws, the verdict was astonishing. MS-68 plus full strike. For most modern quarters, MS-65 is considered above average. MS-66 is rare. MS-67 is almost impossible. But MS-68 plus is a level so perfect, so flawless, that it nearly rewrites the definition of a circulation strike coin. When this coin entered auction, collectors knew what they were looking at, a once-in-a-generation survivor. The bidding war grew intense, moving quickly beyond expectations. The price rose tens of thousands at a time, until finally, the auctioneer's hammer fell and the final selling price stunned everyone. 162,300. A coin worth 25 cents became worth more than a luxury car, more than 2 years of salary for many households, more than some small homes. Proof that extraordinary value sometimes hides in the most ordinary places. And here's the best part. Another one could still be out there. Unopened rolls, untouched mint bags, forgotten sets, old collections. The next priceless. 1980p quarter may be hiding in someone's drawer, stuck in a thrift store jar, or sitting quietly inside a dusty coffee can, full of loose change. So the next time you see a 1980p quarter, don't ignore it. Hold it up to the light. Examine the luster. Study the surfaces. Look for perfection where no one else bothered to look. Because your next pocket coin could be the next 160x300 treasure. Stay curious, stay hunting, and never underestimate the coins everyone else spends without thinking.